Welcome back, guys, to yet another episode in the WoW token challenge. We are still in the Barrens, but we have made a considerable amount of progress on the farms that we have found so far, and I also want to say that we have actually, well, explored some new opportunities and fine-tuned some of the things that we've been doing so far. Now, before I get into all of that, make sure that you guys join this this episode's giveaway. All you have to do is you have to like the video, and then secondly, type a comment down below about which zone that you would prefer to see me go next, okay? The zones that are an opportunity are the zones that are bordering the Barrens. So it would have to be Ashenvale, Stone Talon Mountains. It cannot be Mulgore because that's another starting zone, but it could be Thousand Needles or Dustwallow Marsh, okay? So Dustwallow Marsh, Thousand Needles, Stone Talon Mountains, or Ashenvale. Type a comment about which one that you would prefer me to go to next once we have completed the Barrens, and maybe a little bit about why. I know we have talked about it in some of the previous episodes, but based on what you guys say in this episode, I'll get closer to making a final decision on where we actually go next. Now, do keep in mind that outside of this first choice, if you would prefer us to see, go even further after that in that direction, we totally can. But say that we go to Ashenvale as the next one, that doesn't mean that we could not go to Thousand Needles or Dustwallow Marsh after we complete Ashenvale. So we don't have to go in one direction continuously. Keep that in mind, but that is overall what you guys have to do. Thank you guys as always for watching this lovely old challenge of a series, and let's get straight into the episode. The Collector's Bounty event is finally here, and I obviously wanted to test what it does to our dungeon farming. And the thing that I've been able to kind of figure out now, we've done a reasonable amount of runs, is that BOE drops are mostly unaffected. I haven't really been able to see much of a difference. So all the greens and whatever blues that drop off of regular mobs, they have not changed at all. It doesn't seem like they've increased in, the amount or the types or anything. We're getting pretty much the same amount of BOE drops off of regular mobs when it comes to greens and blues. However, on bosses, we are getting exactly what the buff said. On bosses before, we were getting 2 blues off of a random boss kill here. But now, on every single boss, as you can see, we are getting 4. So, on that front, it has increased. And that does mean that our our overall enchanting bonuses when we disenchant the blues, that value goes up. Also, if you don't want to disenchant and you just want to vendor the actual items, then that's also double. But it's pretty good, because in here there's 5 bosses. So instead of getting 10 blues, we're going to get 20 blues per run. Honestly, pretty good overall. It's not that big of a deal for me and our farming rotation because it doesn't really impact any of the BOEs. It doesn't seem to have changed anything open world either. So it does also say dungeon and raid boss equipment drops are doubled. So I'm not surprised, but it was worth testing anyway because you never know with Blizzard. Sometimes things are a little all over the place. But we are, of course, that's not the only reason we're in here. I am still farming a lot of Razorfen Crawl, and we will also be returning to Wailing Caverns. And that is because some of the stuff that we had in Wailing Caverns, I do want to get some more deviant hatchlings, some more of the pets. And I have a specific rotation in mind for that in particular. And we'll combo it up with some open world farms because it's a very short rotation in there. So I'm gonna continue with doing some more of Razorfen Crawl. If I get any super exciting drops, I'll of course show you guys. But if it's just regular stuff, I'll post it up in the auction house, and then we'll move right over to Wailing Caverns for the other rotation. My plan for Wailing Caverns, since we do have a lot of the transmog from here, at least some of the decent pieces, is I want some more of the deviant hatchlings. Now, the deviant hatchlings, as far as I know, only drop from these raptors, these deviant Ravagers and Guardians, and these are obviously only in the beginning of the dungeon. So okay, well, I'm gonna farm more than one. I had a whole plan here to show you guys a full rotation, so we can actually do this a couple of times, because I did not think I was gonna get it on the first run after like 5 kills. I honestly can't believe that. That's insane. But yeah, the plan is the normal rotation that I would do is I would go around, obviously, as we enter the dungeon. Then we go around on all these ledges, make a full rotation. And then right after we've killed all the raptors here in the first room, we walk right back out, reset the dungeon, and walk back in again. Now, my plan is I want to have 3 of these deviate hatchlings. So that's what I'm going to go for, and getting 1 this early is pretty insane. But I will say we did a lot of runs early on, before we moved into Race and Crawl. Did about 50 runs, I think. And we only got 1. So, again, it's not necessarily going to be the easiest thing in the world to get 3 of them. But having 3 of them is much preferable. We are going to kill the bosses here, and if this guy is right here, we might as well. Because we can get all the blues. Big bonus right now. But now that we killed all the raptors, we're just going to walk straight back out. And then we reset the dungeon. We go back in and do it all over again. And we're going to do this until we hit the dungeon cap. Normally that'd be 10 if you have a fresh hour. And then whenever we can't actually be in here, I'll be doing some open world farming. Probably some skinning rotation, a rare rotation. Because there's a lot of open world drops that we do not have. So I'll be spending some time on that in between waiting for the instance to reset. But that is the rotation. After this, once I have done... I want at least 2, but I'd prefer to have 3. So we'll see how long we end up doing this. But I do have another thing that I want to show you guys that was mentioned to me by a commenter from one of the previous episodes. And that is a particular vendor that walks on a road in the Barrens. Now, I'm going to find that particular vendor, and we'll check out what the vendor has to offer. I'm not going to lie. Getting 2 deviate hatchlings, and yes, you only saw 1, but we did get another one in here. I don't know if we can actually find it someplace. We might be able to find it in here, but regardless, we ended up getting 2 of the deviate hatchlings in the first 10 runs of us. There it is. In the first 10 runs of us trying this again. So that's obviously very good. And I'm just going to say that that's enough for now, because we do have most of the greens from Wailing Caverns, at least of the decent ones. And I also think that it's a little more worth it for us to spend more time in, what do you call it, in Race and Crawl, if we are to do more dungeons. Because I still don't have all of the loot from Race and Crawl. And it's actually kind of interesting to see, because we have, like, under Dungeons and Raids, you can see here that we have done 67 runs of Race and Crawl. And obviously, because of the loot table being this big, we can get unlucky. We don't have to get super lucky in those runs. But 67 runs and still having, and I'm not even kidding, a lots of the greens that we don't, like, we haven't seen them yet, is pretty insane. But it's okay. It's a great dungeon to run, and we also get quite a lot of leather materials out of it and enchanting materials. So even if we're doing a lot of runs and we start getting duplicates, like, that's okay. We can just start disenchanting them. But we do want to do some more Race and Crawl, but not just yet. But I'm very happy that we got lucky to get these deviate hatchlings this quick, because that means we can spend our time elsewhere, and that also made these about 20 minutes that we spent on it very valuable. Because right now on the auction house, they're posted for 7,156. So you know, we got about little over 14,000 in value. in 20 minutes, which is really nice, right? And if we sell it for the same, I mean, it's a little over 10k in 20 minutes, so we take those. Now, my next thing that I want to do is I want to look for the vendor that walks between the crossroads and Ratchet. Now, when I do find that vendor, I'll obviously cut right to it. When I do find it, I'll show you guys what the options are. I found a vendor, and it's this guy, Lizaric, or however you pronounce his name. Normally, you have the opportunity to see, obviously it's randomly spawning depending on timing and whether or not any others bought it off of him, but he has 4 different greens that you can get. One is an enameled broadsword, and then there's a feral blade, ironwood maul, and then a heavy spiked mace. They're all worth a couple thousand gold and have decent sell rates. So every once in a while, I'll try to actually see whether or not he has these 4 different greens on him. They don't all spawn at the same time, so we'll have to check him over multiple times. But this is where he's at, right in Crossroads. You can also see right here my coordinates. It's 50.28, 59.40. If he is not right here in the Crossroads, he walks on this road from the Crossroads all the way down to Ratchet, and then he has a point there where he's going to be as well. So this is the vendor. A couple extra things. Obviously, it's nothing crazy, but if you're flying through the zone, you might as well check him every once in a while. As I talked about, I wanted to do some more open world skinning farms and also just doing a little bit of the rare rotation while we do the skinning farm. Now, my overall plan is going for these lions here because they do drop lion meat. And if you guys didn't catch some of the earlier episodes where we did this farm a lot, the lion meat sells for about 14-15 gold on the auction house pretty frequently too. So it's very, very good to get that alongside the regular leather because it actually increases the amount of gold that we can make per hour. So that is what we're going to do. Most of these lions here that we can actually get access to are in pretty well located, closely located spots here. It's a small rotation of going around in a little bit of a circle here. All of these looking trees in this location, I can just fly up a little bit. There's lions here and here and here, and then over here and here, and then there, there, and then there, and there. And then obviously right here where we're at right now. That rotation is what I'm going to do. Now, if you just fly from tree to tree, you won't actually be able to kill only lions because they don't respawn that fast. So what I also do is I fly around and kill some of the other mobs and skin those just as we wait for things to kind of respawn. Sometimes throughout the day, if there's other people out here, there's more mobs killed, and that does actually make some of these lions spawn a little bit faster, which is good. But that doesn't happen all the time, so that's why I still continue to kill some other mobs. But we do almost get like a lion meat on every single kill, and that's an extra 14-15 gold, so it's pretty good. And again, I'm going to be doing an unknown amount of time of this. I want to show you guys a little bit of the rotation that we do so you can see how we do the farm. I'll obviously do a sped up version of it, not for the entire section of me farming, but just for enough of it so you can get an idea of the rotation that I do. And I know I have showed a little bit of what we did in the open world farm, but this is a little bit different because this is primarily focused on getting lion meat as well as, you know, all the regular skinning that we can get. So this is a little more, well, a little more efficient in terms of pushing as much gold out of it as we can. And we also don't waste too much time flying around trying to look for whether or not the rares have respawned yet, because we're obviously not the only people in the zone, which does mean that some of these rares have some respawn timers that are a little hard to predict. So I'm gonna record a sped up version of this for you guys, but let's get straight to it. Before I show you guys the whole slash played and also how much progress we've made in this episode, a lot of people have previously been asking about how have I set up my TSM. Now, please keep in mind, guys, when it comes to TSM, I haven't done anything that's super fancy. This group that I have is just a basic group. You could also just have your base group. It's a little easier to create one separately. And all it is I add the items that I collect that I want to post into this group. That's number one. Now the other thing is that you need an auctioning operation so you can actually start posting things with TSM. Now my post cap is 5, which means I can't post more than 5 duplicates of one item. Realistically, the better option would probably be like 2 here, maybe 3. But because we don't have much banking space, I just keep it at 5 regardless, because then that will make it really easy for me to notice whether or not I have too many duplicates of one thing when I'm farming. But other than that, the important thing that you need to look at is minimum price, maximum price, and normal price. Minimum price is whenever other people are posting, this price is the lowest that you are willing to go based on what other people are posting at. So what I have currently is 25% of DB market. So if you have something posted on the auction house, say that the market value is 1,000 gold, I am only willing to post it at the lowest of 250. When it comes to a lot of these items, I'm fine because it's farmed and we're not staying in these zones forever. If the price has been severely lowered based, on how the DB market is, I'm okay with lowering that price, and sometimes even going lower if some of the items have been inflated insanely, right? Now the maximum price, I haven't changed this, but this is, as it says right here, when below minimum, you can say don't post items. You can also change this to something. I haven't changed the maximum price at all because I haven't needed to. But this is, say that somebody is holding the price up on a particular market or trying to continuously increase the price, then you can you could just say, okay, well, my maximum price like 200% of DB market. People make fancy operation strings. I don't need that for the purposes of what I'm interested in. It also just kind of depends on what you want to make out of, what you're posting and what you're trying to sell. Now, the normal price, this is simply just 100% DB market. And normal price is if there's nothing posted on the auction house, this is the price it's going to post at. To me, I'm happy if it's 100% of DB market. So if TSM has the value on an item to be, say, 1,500 gold on the DB market and nobody has it posted, well, it'll post it for 1,500 gold. That's usually completely fine to me. Obviously, when I am posting, some of these items might get posted for values where I'm like, that's insane, or maybe high or low, and then I go in and manually tweak it and I just post them for like lower values or higher values depending on which item it is. But again, it's not like super fine-tuned, and I do it this way because that's exactly what I need for the purposes of what we're doing with this challenge. You can do way more optimized ways, but since a lot of people have been asking about what I'm doing with TSM, this is what I'm doing. It's really not any more hardcore than that. There's no crazy setup. It's not like any particular crazy operation strings. It's really simple stuff for the purposes of what we're doing in this challenge. So I hope this makes sense. If you guys have any questions when it comes to TSM, like, I wouldn't say I'm a wizard at using TSM, but I've used it over the years quite a lot, so I guess I can do some things with it. But any more than that, I mean, we're talking about things that are outside of this challenge, especially since we're not investing or buying or flipping anything on this particular tune. But I hope that makes sense, and yeah, let's continue in the episode. I wanted to show you guys, before we do the slash played and the total amount of gold that we've made so far, we do have 619 posted auctions with a value of 617,000. Now, I would say most of the items that we actually have posted right now are lower than the region market value or even the server DB market, right? That means that most of these values that you're seeing on your screen here on my auction house are pretty much around the price that you would expect to be able to sell them for. Now, some of them, if you post them for a little bit less, right, then you could potentially quick sell them to people that are flipping it. We're not in that much of a hurry to make that gold currently. It's something that we might consider depending on how long it takes for us to get through the barons. But we have a considerable amount of transmog, which is also why, as you saw right before we got here, that I've been doing more of the open world farms. I've actually done quite a considerable amount of hours, and you'll see that in our mailbox as well. So for the actual materials, and I still have some things on here that have not sold. Now, I'm still, in terms of the greens, everything that is, well, I have a couple of things that are under 100 gold, but most of the time if I see something that is worth less than 100 gold in terms of a green, or I have a bunch of duplicates of it, say I have 3 or 4, even 5, I disenchant it, right? That's how it goes, so we get some materials out of it. Now, we do have a considerable amount of materials here in the auction house, some that I recently farmed, but also some that I have not sold over a couple of hours. We have quite a lot of lion meat here, and this, you can see that we've sold 434. There's more in the mailbox, by the way, for an average of 13 gold and 15 silver. So we're going to be able to sell this. It might just take a little bit. That's really only where it is. Then we also have a considerable amount of heavy leather and medium leather. So, I mean, ballpark numbers, we still have a decent amount of gold in terms of materials here. I'm not actually sure exactly how much that would be, but it's probably 723 lion meat times 14. That's 10k. I guess it's somewhere between 10 and 15k in total in materials that have not sold yet, but that's okay. We'll hold that for the next episode. Right now, we're at 121,000 gold, and we have spent 10 days, 7 hours, and 21 minutes. Now, obviously, that's on top of what we had in Duratar, if you guys have not been following the full challenge. But in terms of how much time we've spent since the last episode, it's been about 17, 18 hours. And we have in our mailbox 44,855 gold. So pretty close to 45,000, I would say. So it's honestly pretty decent, especially because we did spend a lot of time in dungeons farming up the transmog that you're seeing on the auction house. In the more later hours, we've been spending some more time actually farming materials a little bit more, so that's pretty good. But if you take the 45k that we have currently in the mailbox here, and we split that over 17-ish hours, it's around 2,700 gold on average per hour. Now, in those hours, we've also had some AFK time. We post on the auction house, so it's not consistent farming hours overall, but I'm still happy with it, considering it's an old zone. And also, if we get a period where we find a couple of collectors that end up actually buying a lot of that transmog that we now have on the auction house, it'll speed up the later part of this challenge as well. But one of the things that I'll be spending most of my time on is definitely farming materials, so we can consistently build up the amount of gold that we have while we wait for the transmog items to sell. I'd say we probably have most of the loot table when it comes to Razorfin Crawl now and Wailing Caverns. So we're almost there at least. So we're going to be spending some more time in open world farms. But regardless, as you can see here in our mailbox, we have a whole ton of materials. You can actually see we have some more lion meat right here. 185 of it for 2,400 sold. We have heavy leather, greater eternal essences, rich illusion dust, medium leather, some smaller portions of some herbs, more medium leather, heavy leather. As you can see, like, this is just straight up materials. And we have a couple of greens here that we were able to sell. Nothing particularly crazy. There were all canvas pants that's a gray, I'm pretty sure, but you know, a couple hundred gold, nothing too crazy, but we will still take it. And then you can see heavy hide, greater eternal essences, nothing out of the ordinary, heavy leather again. And then we did actually sell some more transmog here. You can see the vital tunic, sentry shield, war torn girdle, wicked chain, cloak, and also a chipped quarterstaff. That's a gray, I believe. Then an ancestral gloves, 1,000 gold, 950, pretty good. Watcher's mantle. We sold a recipe and a pattern here. One of the ones that we got out of Wailing Caverns, 628, and the elixir of lesser agility to 10. So as many materials as we have in here. See, this is an outlier. We did actually sell Ravisaur's scale boots. This is a blue from Race of Crawl. Avengers armor for 3,800, which is kind of low, but I mean that's how the auction house goes. Again, also Race of Crawl. Pison's old greatsword, 4,750. Really good sale there. So you can see we are selling some transmog pieces for decent prices that work out in our favor for the challenge. So again, really awesome sales. These are some of the bigger ones that we've been able to get so far. Pretty happy with that, especially with how much competition exists on the server. But again, we will absolutely take it for the amount of hours that we have put in. And the auction house is at a great point. We have somewhere between 10 to 15,000 in materials that we have still yet to sell, that we have been spending some hours on. So a lot of that will carry over into the next episode. But we are at 166,414 gold. Pretty good. Pretty solid. Now, another thing that I wanted to show you guys, at the time of recording this episode, the token is at 362k, which is something I'm really happy about, because for the last 2 days, it has been up close to 400k. So that price did not hold, because otherwise it would make our challenge a lot harder. But that is pretty much everything that I had for this episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it. As always, I'm going to try my best to make a whole bunch of gold, because I will say we have explored most of the farming opportunities that we have available to us in the Barrens. There's a couple of things that we could do if we swapped around professions, but I actually don't think it's going to be like super worth our time to do. So for now, I think I'm going to hold off. But in the next episode, I would have done, what we're going to focus on is a lot of open world farms, obviously with the skinning, and then additionally some disenchanting. But I think I'll also try my luck for the broken wine bottle up here at the sludge fen. And then also something I want to try a little bit more is Frey Island for the deckhand's shirt. Those are 2 items that I want to test my luck on. So we'll do that in the next episode. We'll probably do like some sped up farming segments for that. So hopefully you guys are going to enjoy that. And then, yeah, we'll see where the RNG gods take us. But thank you guys so much for watching the episode. And as always, see you on the next one.